Hi, welcome to Hymn Stories. My name is David. Thank you for tuning in today and watching this video. The song we're going to be learning about today is I Surrender All, written by Judson Van Deventer and Winfield Scott Whedon in 1896. So if, like me, you grew up in a church that had altar calls, an altar call being an invitation at the end of the service, typically after the pastor would give his sermon, when people are invited to come forward and pray, make decisions before God, then you probably heard this hymn, I Surrender All. But I Surrender All is not just an altar call song. It is really a hymn that captures a fundamental issue that all humanity struggles with. That is autonomy or self-governance versus submission to God. Who's driving the car? Who's in control of the situation? Us or God? So, rewind a bit. Judson Van Deventer, the one who wrote this song originally, he was born on a Michigan farm in 1855, graduated from Hillsdale College. Lost my notes here. Graduated from Hillsdale College, yes, and he eventually went on to be an art supervisor at some public schools in Pennsylvania. Kind of always stayed in the Great Lakes region. But in addition to being active in his Methodist Episcopal Church, Van Deventer was also an accomplished musician. He was a singer, he was a composer, so this guy was really talented, really good at what he did. And friends were often encouraging Van Deventer to pursue being an evangelist, kind of full time. Like, go share the gospel of Jesus, you're a good speaker, you're good at all this, go do that full time. But he didn't want to do that. He wanted to pursue being an artist, being a musician. So for 5 years, okay, long time, Van Deventer goes back and forth. Am I going to be an evangelist? Am I going to submit to God? And, do I want that, or do I want what I want, which is to go be a musician and do all these other big things that I think are important? So finally, at a point, Van Deventer eventually surrendered his life to the service of God. He said, okay, God, I'm done. Whatever you want, whatever you have for me, that's what I'm going to do. And it was at that moment, that period of his life, that he actually penned the lyrics to I Surrender All. Then Van Deventer spent several years traveling throughout the U.S., England, and Scotland as a singing evangelist. So in a way, when he surrendered to God, God actually used the natural talents and the gifts that he had already, and he was able to put those to use and add those to what God had already planned and made out for Van Deventer. So really neat. Van Deventer's friend, Winfield Scott Whedon, composed a tune, and the two men published I Surrender All in 1896, so 127 years ago. Van Deventer eventually retired, went to Florida, became a professor of music, hymnology, I think was what it was actually titled, at Florida Bible Institute. He wrote other hymns, but I Surrender All is definitely his most famous and most well-known hymn. Now, this is where it gets interesting. This song has impacted a lot of people, a lot of big names that you've probably heard of before. This song impacted Billy Graham, who actually attended Florida Bible Institute and actually knew Van Deventer, so he used that in his crusades, and that's probably where it gained some of its popularity in altar calls and different things like that. If you've ever heard of pop artist Denise Williams, she released the song Let's Hear It for the Boys back in the 80s. She actually won a Grammy Award for, let me get this right, Best Female Soul Gospel Performance with this song. Oprah Winfrey actually credits this song for comforting her, helping her see, in her own estimation, God's working in her life during a difficult period when her acting career, her show, was not going very well. She actually came to a point where she sang the song and just, in her words, kind of gave everything to God, and that's when things started turning around for her. She eventually would have Faith Hill actually perform the song on her show in 2005. So a lot of big names connected with this song that like this song, appreciate this song and its message. But a passage I believe that goes well with this song and this hymn is Proverbs 16:3 and then 16:9, just a couple verses down. So Proverbs 16:3 says this: commit your work to the Lord, and your plans will be established. And also, the heart of man plans his way, but the Lord establishes his steps. What I love about the story of this hymn is the fact that our actions have far-reaching consequences, and it affects people that otherwise we probably wouldn't even think of impacting or touching in our lives. I don't think Judson Vandeventer had any idea that Oprah Winfrey would credit this song as part of being influential in her life. But when we do surrender to God's calling, there's really no limit to what God can do with us or through us. And oftentimes, like Vandeventer found out, he's able to use the gifts we have and the inclinations we have and put those to his plan anyway. But not because of our greatness, ultimately because of God's goodness. So that's the history of I Surrender All. Remember, hymn stories are his stories. If you like this video, learn something about it, please like it, share, subscribe. Helps us make more videos. And stick around, we're going to do the music part of the video in just a second. Now that I have my guitar, we'll go ahead and sing I Surrender All. 5 verses here. Feel free to sing along. Share your favorite lyric in the comments below. This is I Surrender All, key of D. All to Jesus I surrender. All to him I freely give. I will never love and trust him. In his presence daily live. I surrender all. I surrender all. you for listening to this video. Again, if you learned something or enjoyed it, please like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. That helps us make more videos, as I already mentioned earlier, but I won't keep on that too much. Share your favorite comment or share your favorite lyric in the comments below, or how this song has impacted you, or even a song that you think we should do in the future. Thanks for listening. Have a blessed day.